So we'll go ahead and get this ready to go. Let's see what we got over here. Okay, and we are live. Okay, and it looks like the game is ready to go. Okay, looks like we're going with adjacent corner opening. Okay. So far, a fairly standard opening. Though normally we see something like this or this, so I'm kind of curious what this one's going to do. I mean, it does grant a little bit more flexibility to counter white going either direction, but white can also lay flats here or... Ooh, capstone already. So it looks like white's going for a hard line here. The problem with this shape is that if black happens to play here and white happens to play here, it's going to be very hard to get attrition on this edge. And it looks like instead white's deferred into here to try and either go around that or be able to capture up. And black continues to try and cap off their momentum there. I wouldn't be surprised to see a black capstone here within a few turns, though. Okay, so it looks like white is expanding on a horizontal thread and a vertical thread up here. Okay, and we have our first capture there. Looks like white's going to go ahead and... a couple of captures from Treff fairly early. I wonder if that's going to end up costing. Yep. So that's going to do some bad things to Treff's position here. Especially if he manages to get on top of this stack and take that white with him. problem here is that black has nowhere really to go here. It has some semblance of a vertical threat, but absolutely nothing as far as the horizontal this cap can't immediately shut down. So the question is, what does he do to get some relevance here? It looks like he's choosing to try and continue on this vertical threat if possible. White counters by reinforcing this area. Liking white's position a lot more right now. It looks like Treff has realized he's not in a very good position, so he's spending quite a bit of time thinking here. Honestly, he's going to have to get this capstone out sometime, and I think the best chance he's going to get is here, d3. The problem is, in the meantime, he's managed to burn himself off of 2-3 minutes versus Syme up here, which is going to cost. Not sure I'm fond of that because we're getting a lot of white captives here. Yeah, that's the problem, is white can keep on targeting this piece right here. And then just continue on their merry way. Unless we have a capstone out soon to do something about this threat, we're going to have a very bad time for black. Especially if white manages to place a flat right here. Though I have a feeling they're more going to aim at f6 up here. Though we could have some diversification and go for a b3 here to try and build up a horizontal as well. so we have C4. So it looks like we're just going to reinforce a horizontal threat here. Let's see what we got here. Oops. So we have those two as potential options. I'm not sure I like either one of them though. So it looks like black is going to try for a horizontal threat here. I wonder if white's going to continue on this threat line. Or if it's going to go for f6 up here to try and continue that potential vertical threat. Because you know that black has to be looking to lay it flat right here. Okay, so it looks like we have the cap over. Now what to do if you were black right now? There'd be the potential of placing the capstone here, though I don't think that would do much good. Okay, it looks like the capstone did come up. It does at least block this horizontal threat from getting... No, actually, not very well, because you end up having this, this, and this. They could all make a threat towards that. Yeah, black's in a very, very precarious position right now. I'd almost be tempted to try b5, a5, and see if you can do a sneaky throw up there. Though I doubt that works at this stage of the game. Okay, so it looks like we have f6, so they're trying to stop the vertical threat a little bit. This is giving some better position to black though. Except now they're in trouble. I wonder if we're going to have the capstone go over here to try and lay into that threat. Or what we're going to end up with. You could also do c5 minus to try and take out some of the flexibility of that road. Though at this point, white, I would guess, is going to dump horizontally to get some pieces out here. this is going to start to become interesting real quick. Because we have about a 5-minute difference in time right now. We have probably roughly 20 flats left on each side. I can count that in a second. 4, 4, 8. So we're also 8 to 8 on flats. Though white has much more potential there. Okay, so it looks like 20 left. And then 19 left over here. Yeah, the flag game is not going to end well for black right now. I kind of wonder if there's a name for surrounding your opponent's capstone in your own pieces. It seems a little bit desperate. Because any number of things could shut down this road. I wonder if we're going to see E1 here. Potentially B3 to try and make that horizontal thread a little bit more realistic, which would be followed by an A3. Okay. So it looks like we're just going to make the direct threat here. If I had to bet, it would be capstone comes over here. Okay, which gives black a little bit of a strong position, but also white can dump this entire stack over here and start to make multiple other threats. And that's going to end up in a huge sequence, which is going to end up with probably stones here and here, and then a bunch of attacks on up and through here. Okay, so it looks like we have our threat of a throw here for the capstone, which would be an immediate win. I almost wonder if we see F6 down here. There's also the option of C5 plus, which would start to get a threat up this way. I mean, the most ideal thing for black in this situation, considering the strength of the vertical threat here, is to try and take out a majority of this section. One of the best ways to do that would be start with C5 plus here. Question is, which one do we see? In the meantime, this is still going to be a big factor. C5 plus it is. Okay, so we start to see a potential horizontal threat here from black. So Syme's certainly using that time. I have a feeling we might see 4 come over here, leaving 1 white, and then the rest of the stack up here to give the threat potential to here, which might end up with a black flat. And then a white flat over here threatening to capture that. This also opens up a distinct possibility of having more pieces which happen to try and make this horizontal threat. Interesting. So this also invokes white throw. Though I'd be surprised if we don't see d5 plus as a response. Which would immediately make a attack threat that needs to be addressed. I almost wonder how likely it is that we see this f4 stack sneak up here. Because that's certainly been a threat earlier in the tournament that some people have gotten away with. It's looking like the most compelling move would still definitely be d5 plus up here. Instead we have e6 over. Interesting. But it does make a threat. Problem is, white can just as easily play flat there. It also unlocks the capstone. Looks like the time's starting to balance out, though. So what could they do? I mean, the immediate thing is that we could have the entire stack here. Go over 1 and 4. Which would leave enough white to be able to capture right here. I think that's probably the ideal situation here because black can't win in one turn through this vector. It looks like Syme's burning through a majority of the time he'd accumulated as well. Interesting choice. That does address the threat. Now I wonder if we're going to end up seeing e6 up here, or potentially b6. Be one of these two. Though that reinforcement does definitely make it much riskier venue for black, because if white gets any momentum up through here, it's pretty well going to be game because of reinforcements that can start happening anywhere around here. so what else could they potentially do? Honestly, I still see a 6-row threat that's going to happen, but I'm not sure exactly where, how they're going to try and pull it off. So still even on flats at 9, but white has less reserve. If possible, black needs to be laying some flats pretty quick because it looks like they probably have about 19 left and they've been doing a lot of capturing. And they're going to need that going into game 2. Meanwhile, it looks like we're under 4 minutes here. So time's going to start getting a little bit tight here for Treffnon. Okay, so it looks like we do have B6 over here. Let's see what it's thinking here. Looks like flat at E6. So that does make another attack threat. Question is, what does black do? Because that F6 corner is going to be fairly vital. Okay. So do we end up with F6 over here? guess you could do that. I wonder if we see a flat up here. No, a flat on f6 immediately loses. Sneaky, sneaky. Because you have this hop right here. And those things are all types of dangerous. So keep an eye over here on f4. If he places a flat, he loses. I would seriously consider taking some of this cap stack up here, just so you can wipe out most of that threat. Okay. So it looks like he did see it and we have a wall up there. Okay. And we might see the wall head up here, and then that would be a nice amount of... Yep. Switching back and forth between commenting here and on YouTube. Okay, and we have Scott Crawford over here mentioning d5 minus a4. Why a4? I'm not sure what a4 really accomplishes here. I mean, maybe trying to block the horizontal over here. Is it a misclick? Yeah, that's a fair point. But honestly, it might be stopping something horizontal, but you also need a5 to actually counter what they probably do there. I don't see any net gain from a4. Yeah, as they're saying over in the YouTube comments, this is definitely giving up a lot of momentum for very, very little good reason. I will say though that I like a3 because that gives the potential of a horizontal threat over here. I see response to this being b4 almost immediately. Looks like we do have f6 over there, which is going to start eating a whole bunch of flats over here. that time though is going to be a pain. Okay, so we might see something a little bit desperate like this, and then just have the cap hop back on top of it. So that's an immediate attack threat. If they do that, we might have some interesting things to consider here. Because this opens up the possibility of a wall right here. I have a feeling that Syme is going to try and take this stack back. Sneaky, sneaky. I like that. Leave the stack open. So even if there is a wall right here, the immediate flat would win. So the question is, what does black do now? Okay, it looks like we're going to start eating these pieces in, which unlocks the white cap to do a whole bunch more damage. So I have a feeling we're just going to see a steady movement over this way. Fire white, I consider here. Actually, is there a way there could be a... No. So this has 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we have another thread up here. Okay, now we have that wall. Looks like we're going to speed up a little bit here towards the end because they're starting to feel that time constraint. Looks like this might be going to a flat game, and if it is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 6. So right now we're at +7 for white. So that's fairly devastating. Okay, so that makes attack over there. Now we might start seeing some white pieces fly over here. If I were white, I would just try and empty as many flats as possible right now. Okay, so we have another wall. Yeah, this game is probably going to flats, and white has a monstrous advantage here. The only other thing I see as potential is F5 plus over here. Cap flattens wall, which would make a hard cap, which would threaten right here. And that might be attenuate potential. Okay, so we might have 2 go down here. Or we might see Treff go over here to the right. Okay, it looks like he's trying to regain some of his flats here then. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 left. To probably 11 left. We're gonna have a little bit of interest here. Yeah, I could still see E2 minus over here. Which offers the option to recapture this should they do F2 minus. Okay, looks like they're just going to go directly for that threat then. So we might see the wall move down. Or this. Okay, and response to that would be an immediate flat right here, which would make attack threats both here and here. Then we might see the wall come over here. Well, one of these two walls is going over. So as soon as that happens, what I would do is I would consider placing a flat in that same area. Let's see here, is there one that's better than the other? So, okay, so it looks like we still have the potential for horizontal threat there. I doubt this is going to get into attenuate territory, but it's definitely going to make Treff think about things. Okay, so we could see another flat right there. Okay, so we did see that flatten then. No, flatten. What am I talking about? Anyways. So what can he do with this? Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with the YouTube commenters right now that white needs to be going for laying as many flats as possible right now. I'm not sure what exactly they're planning here. But there's next to nothing is getting through there. I mean, we could have a couple more flats going here, here, here. Then we have that stack, which has not enough potential to do damage. Question is, which way is less likely? And I would say that a standing stone there is going to be more ideal. Okay, that's interesting. Yes, it has potential of vertical threat, but it doesn't have one that's fully furnished yet either. Okay, so 2e4 minus. Okay, so we could just flat right there, then continue this threat. Okay, so this threatens to come down here and wipe out a few flats. see B2 just so we don't get that stack up there excited quite yet. Okay, so it looks like we might have, yep. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not, but we're late enough in the game and it's been long enough that it's very potential that mistakes might be made here. If I were white, I would consider hopping over here and taking that stack of remainders there. Then using that for another potential threat back across here. Ooh! There's no way he didn't see that. Dang! Ouch! Oh man, that was brutal. That's gotta sting for a while. Yeah. Oopsie, wrong thing. Dang. But still, man. Well done. Well done, Treff. Well done. I'm going to go ahead and stop this stream and move on to stream number 2. So stay on and I will be right back.